Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and it's Women's History Month, and I'm here today to talk to you about Pretty Little Liars Season 2. So, Season 2 is an extremely good season. Some hail this season as being probably the best in the overall series. I still think season 1 and season 2 are by far the absolute best. Season 3 and 4 being okay, and then after that, that's when the show just got really strange. The good thing about season 2 is that it ups the ante by building on the momentum that was given in season 1 and doing it in a very realistic kind of way. It's not too hokey, it's not too boring. They don't stray from like the narrative too much, and for the most part there really isn't like no cracks, no fracture in the storytelling, but there are slight blemishes in everything. Like there are just some things, like no matter when I watched this many years ago back in 2011 or rewatched it just last month, there are just some things that are just kinda odd to where the writers just didn't know where exactly to go with either this storyline or this character and everything. But for the most part, it really does do a nice job of building up everything that came from season 1, because this comes off directly from season 1 and stuff. But there are slight blemishes, like I said before, in certain things and angles that kind of got like weak or just dropped. But it's not that many. Season 3 is when the show started to have fractures. They weren't too big, but they were there in the show. And then of course the cracks started to show as like that season progressed, and then season 4, and then season 5, and this and that. For the most part, this season plays it safe and everything. It's not too ambitious, but it is ambitious nevertheless. The relationships are amped up, especially that really gross one. The girls are, for the most part, being smarter than what they normally are. They're actually trying to set traps for A because they want to catch A and everything. But for the most part, they still act like dumb teenage girls to where, like, they never go nowhere with a weapon. They end up meeting complete strange grown men and sometimes hopping in their vehicle just because they're trying to find out more information about Allison's disappearance and stuff. And it's just kind of like, you don't know this guy. He's a grown man. You're a teenager, and you're literally in a plane with this guy. Or you're meeting somebody at a restaurant. But at least when they met somebody at the restaurant, it was that of a restaurant. And like there was tons of people around, and their friends were very close by. And stuff like that. So they were acting smart in that regards. In other seasons, like season 3, they just can become like completely stupid at times, where it's just kind of like, yo, this ain't your first rodeo with A and mysterious people. Why are you acting like it's season 1? And so like, and also I remember when watching this season, there was such great like anticipation and mystery and intrigue and things that really got your blood pressure like going up. He's like, oh my God, like what's going on? Is that A? Because the girls will always meet like a hooded figure and something scary will happen, like legit scary. And that's the fear that they built up in the season 2 that I really appreciated. This is something Roberto could never do when he did that soft reboot spinoff of Original Sin, the Pretty Little Liars show on HBO Max. No matter what, that dude just could never get it right. And they did it so many decades ago, or at least a decade ago, just being very simple and simplistic, you know what I'm saying? However, and I won't spoil nothing beyond this season until I get to that point. So I'll let you know if I have to go into like other seasons and stuff. But like when watching this, just like with season one and almost every other season, you always assume the person in the hooded figure is the actual A. You know what I'm saying? The one that's been stalking the liars and all this other stuff. And it's such intense because they're breaking into people's houses, they manhandle the girls, they almost get hit with a car, they get so pissed they bust like the windshield out of a car. So you really assume all the time it's like A, you know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's always those A fake outs. And those A fake outs is one of the things that always has pissed me off about this series, no matter what season it is. Don't get me all hyped and everything and get me all like scared and worried for these fictional characters if it's just a fake out and somebody who's not actually gonna hurt these girls and stuff. That is something that is like so annoying. Like, deliver. All you gotta do is deliver. And so, like, even the Halloween episode wasn't that hokey. It's still built up in like a realm of realism and everything, as opposed to every other Halloween episode after that. There's also no supernatural anything in this season, and thank God for that. Although there was that little boy, and he kept talking about, I can see into the future, and these events haven't happened yet, and blah, blah, blah. So you're like, what the heck is he talking about? And so, like, and then you turn out, oh, A just bribed him to say all that crap. And so you can tell that was Marlene King's, like, foreshadowing of how she would screw this entire franchise up by adding paranormal activity type stuff and supernatural stuff, like in later seasons, like with season 3, season 4. Oh God, the spin-off series and everything, like Ravenswood or whatever it was called. Like, I'm just like, what the world? Like, you could tell she wanted to make a supernatural show, and for some dumb reason she incorporated it into this show. So that's a little foreshadowing to that. And it took me a long time to buy this season on DVD, only because I'm not really used to buying dramas. I think Pretty Little Lies was the very first drama series I ever bought on DVD. Either that or Desperate Housewives, because while I will watch it in real time, I don't like buying them on DVD because the episodes are long, 22 episodes, an hour long, or about 40 something minutes. And it's just a lot of talking. And so I normally don't buy DVDs like that. I like more action-packed stuff or adventure type stuff. But for me, and also I like episodic type stuff that I can just pop through any episode I want randomly and watch it without having to know everything that came before it. And so but of course with a drama, you can't do that because it's serialized and stuff. And for the most part, Marlene King did a good job of keeping everything consistent and stuff like that. Until you do a rewatch many years later after the series ends. So there are little blemishes, like I said before, in this season that have always irritated me. Kind of like one of the things is like just nitpicking stuff. Like, say, when Emily's at school and she gets like a box of cereal, and then all of a sudden inside the box of cereal is the alphabet, cereal, and all of them just happen to be A. So it's kind of like, you mean to tell me that A went at school at night, broke into the school, went in, found one box of cereal, put nothing but A's in there, and that just happens to be the one Emily just happens to buy? How do you know Emily was even gonna buy a box of cereal? Like, it is weird, hokey stuff like that that makes the show look a little too stupid, because the writers always try okay, how can we make this mysterious? Oh, how can we make A be smarter than everybody else? And then when they do that, they try too hard. Or when A asked Emily a question like, "Are you in or out?" All of a sudden, she's in her classroom, and the teacher already wrote yes and no for like another type of question, and she just happens to circle yes. And I was just like, well, how the heck was A even able to see that? And it literally caused me, and I'm not joking, it literally caused me years ago when watching this season to think, is A supernatural? Is A ghost? Like, how the heck did A know this crap? And I'm just like, is there a paranormal type thing in this show? Like, what the heck is going on? Because how the heck would A even know that and stuff? And of course, A was not supernatural. A was not a ghost. It's just the writers thinking they're clever and everything. This is also the one that gave us the very first Halloween episode that hinted to that of Courtney. There's a lot of stuff in this season that hints to that of Courtney De Laurentiis and stuff. Courtney, of course, as you should know by now, is the actual twin of Allison from the books. Fans have been anticipating this ever since the show got announced, and ever since people like me who have never read the books went online after the first episode to, get caught up in everything. It's like, oh, this person's A, and oh, this person's like bigger A, and like, oh, a twin here. Now, when I did that, I got to the point I'm like, crap, I need to stop reading stuff. So I completely forgot who A was in the show because I glanced at it real fast. And so when I found out who A was, I'm all like, holy crap, you got to be kidding me and stuff. But a little bit on that later. So back to Courtney. So all throughout this season, you assume Courtney has been there ever since that of like, the Halloween episode and this and that. And I'm all like, but then they will make it to where, oh, that's not Courtney. That's literally just Alice. And I'm like, but in the back of my head, I'm like, nah, it has to be her. Like, it has to be her. Like, why would they do this to us? Like, they're trying to trick us and everything. And then of course, as the series has ended, you're just like, oh, there is no Courtney. Oh, there is a twin in the show, multiple ones, and it ruined the show because Marlene King didn't know what the heck to do. And so, like, the whole no Courtney thing has always pissed me off till this day. And it's because of the reason why I wish to God they would just reboot the entire show. Reboot the entire show with a brand new cast and actually stay faithful to that of the books. Because the books are a heck of a lot different than that of the show. One thing this show I can give credit for is that they managed to make bad characters from the book, like Toby, who's horrible in the book, but actually make him very likable in the show. Basically, Toby is the Jenna of Toby in the book is like Jenna of like the show when it comes to that of the sexual assault and everything. And because he's a horrible person who actually did that against her will. But then the show is the reverse. It's her doing it to him. And they make him a very likable person. Also, Detective Walden, who's actually a good cop in the books, but horrible in the show. Then there are new characters completely made up for the show, like Garrett, who does a really good job of adding that suspense factor and fear to the show, because Garrett was downright scary this season, mainly because he is a cop who is in love, who's been jilted, and he knows a lot of crap and can hide a lot of information. And just like with the whole Caleb thing, when Caleb stared for a little too long, dude reached for his gun and was gonna fake an accident. That was some scary mess, you know what I'm saying? And like, not only that, but they managed to make Jenna the MVP of this season. I keep reading how everybody loves like Mona, everybody loves Spencer, everybody loves like Arya, everybody loves Toby, everybody loves like Hannah and everything. And I get why people don't love Jenna. You know what I'm saying? Because Jenna is evil, she's done bad things, but she was really the MVP of this season. And she wasn't awarded or nothing like that. And I forget which season it was, but they left her. Oh no, it was like a photo, like of the cast photo, and they left her completely out. But it's like, and it's the weirdest thing is that Jenna is a recurring guest starring character. But the things she does in season two are downright like wicked. She framed the girls for like a murder, and she's blind on top of that. Like she's so pissed at like, the girls just like standing there not trying to make Allison stop when blinding her. She's so pissed at them. She wanted to ruin their lives, and she's been working nonstop, and to do whatever, use whoever she had to just to get her revenge, and she got it. Then, after she gets her revenge, she realizes, and this is the part that doesn't make no sense. When you're done rewatching like the entire series and the series ended and you go back to this season, one of the things that doesn't make no sense is after she gets her revenge, she's just like a regular character after that. But then towards the end, she wants more revenge and joins something known as the A-Team, something that was never in the books and was at that time clever in the show, but I don't think so no more. When you know how the show ends and like all the stuff that happens, and when you know A's motive and everything, the A-Team just doesn't make all that much sense no more. And so, but it could have been, and it was back in the day, but then when you stop and you really look, it's just kind of like they really fumbled with that football, because it's kind of like, yo, you just got your revenge, you're done with the girls. But what made it worse is that she knows for a fact the girls did not blind her. She knows it was Allison. She knows Allison blackmailed Toby into taking the fall for it. So she knows who's responsible, but yet she still wants revenge on the girls because the girls didn't do nothing to stop her. And so it's just kind of like, afterwards, she still wanted revenge. Also, there are other characters that are in the A-Team, and it's just kind of like, why? Because the thing is, they tweaked the motive of A. Yeah, the motive of A is that the fact that they always wanted revenge on Allison because of how Allison treated them. Formed the A-Team and all this other stuff. But then there's a second motive. And the second motive is actually the main motive from the beginning of season one. And it's just kind of like, that don't make no sense whatsoever, because the thing that caused the motive literally happened in the first episode. And it's just like, that pissed you off that bad to where you wanted revenge on all the girls, and that don't make no sense. And then when you get to the actual A-Team, it's just like, that doesn't make any more sense, because it's kind of like two of them. Why would they hurt certain members of the Liars when they really care for them? And more importantly, why would they do what they want to do to harm the girls when they have no ill will towards the girls? So the whole actually it's three members of the A-Team. Yeah, it's kind of like three of them. Why would they want to hurt the girls that bad? I get why A wants to, but the A-Team makes no sense, because Allison is dead. So why would they want to torture the Liars for? And so when you stop and you think about that, when you find out A's motive, when you find out who the A-Team is, and when the series has concluded, the A-Team makes no sense whatsoever. And I mean whatsoever. And it's because the people who was in the A-Team are members of like the cast, the recurring characters, the guest star characters and stuff. So they wanted familiar faces, but their motives made no sense because there is no Ollie and everything. It could have made sense if they would have had different characters and maybe a different motive and everything. Another thing they played around with is Allison alive or is she dead? There's still like hallucinations and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like you really don't know. 'Cause they tried to play it like, is she alive or is she dead? But of course, people thought "Well, maybe it's a twin and everything." So I do like that, like little red herring misconception and everything like that. It really kept people on their toes. There's a lot of things that keep people on their toes, like the whole like mid-season finale that later went into the Halloween episode, and then later went into like the rest of the season because you had to wait a long time to figure out what the heck exactly happened after that, because like I'm trying to think when was um, the Halloween. Okay, the first secret. Okay, so this mid-season finale was August 30th, 2011. Then the Halloween special wasn't until October 19th of that same year. So you had to go like 2 whole months to figure out what happened. Then the show doesn't pick back up until January 2012. And of course, ratings went more up because people was anticipating the show coming back. So you had to wait half a stinking year, feels like it, just to see the rest of like the series and everything. That was the pleasure and fun of having a television show on broadcast TV back in the day. Now everything's on the internet like a web series, and it just happens very quickly sometimes. And so, of course, this is why broadcast TV will always be better because it helps build your anticipation and stuff. And then when you see the girls like in orange jumpsuits and everything because they're in juvie or whatever it is, and they have community service, it's like, oh my God, what the heck happened in between that time and everything? And two of the girls are pissed at each other and fighting, and it's just like, oh man, I can't wait to see and then they end that storyline really quickly. So the girls are done with juvie, done with community service, and like we don't get to see. I'm like, nah, man, you gotta show us, man. You gotta show us. And that's why I hate when they do crap like that. And so I hate when they drop the ball on stuff like that. Like I hate when they drop the ball, all of them in juvie. I hate when they drop the ball with say like Lucas. You can kind of tell when it comes to Lucas, they just really don't know what the heck to do with that character. They didn't know what to do with him in season 2. They didn't know what to do with him in season 3. After a while, he starts to disappear from the show and come on back. And it's just kind of like, if you don't know what you're going to do with the character, then just don't do nothing with them at all, or wrap them up very quickly, because the whole Lucas storyline is stupid. And then when you find out more about Lucas in season 3, it's just kind of like, that don't really make all that much sense. And even he had frustration with that one episode of his that really didn't make no sense with his character this season. I think he said the director just didn't understand his character. Well, no duh. Lucas is barely in the show. He kind of pops in, pops out for 3 or 4 episodes, and he doesn't really do much. And then they wrote him to be all mysterious like a red herring, but the director had him do it too mysterious and too creepy to where people literally thought like he was gonna hurt Hannah and everything. And then when you find out why he acted the way he did, then you just like, that is so stupid. Oh boy, I swear. And so when it comes to the relationships, like I said before, I really like what they did with that this season, because pretty much everybody, well, okay, here's the thing. Half of the liars, about 2 of them the events that happen in their relationships are so good and so juicy, and they help elevate their character, and the actual character help their own narrative move forward. Like, say, Arya. The actions in which Arya does this season, she moves her story along. Spencer is kind of like another. But then you get somebody like Emily, who doesn't really move her own story forward, and everybody else has to move it for her. I do wonder if there was a reason for that. Is it just because they were having too much fun writing the other characters, or did it have something to do with, like, Shay Mitchell's lack of like acting? Because remember, this was like one of her first big gigs. She had a smaller one on Degrassi, and then this was like her first big, huge, major thing she booked. And she was 18 and very inexperienced and stuff. And it showed in, like, her acting and stuff. So it does make me wonder if that's why they didn't do that. But you know what, when it comes to her, I give her a pass for the earlier seasons because, like I said before, this was her big first time acting and stuff. And she booked the role, and she was so happy when she booked that role. And so, you can give her a pass for the first couple of seasons. And plus, some of her best acting is when she's angry or emotional, which is something they should have done a whole lot more. Same thing with the actor who plays Toby. His acting isn't exactly the greatest either, but his acting this season was a heck of a lot better because he was more emotional and more angry and stuff. It's just when he's passive, he's kind of boring. And it shows in like his acting and stuff. But then it's like, in later seasons, if their acting has not improved, then it's okay to criticize. You know what I'm saying? And so it does make me wonder if that's why her relationships were never like elevated to the level of the people. Plus, they kept writing her relationships completely out. She was in 2.5 relationships in the entirety of the season. One lasted for more than just 2 or 3 episodes. The other one was spontaneous, bopping in and out, because the actress who plays Maya, I don't know what the heck is going on behind the scenes. But it makes me wonder if Marlene King has, like, I don't know, like, something against the actress who plays, like, Maya, Brianna Lawson, or is it just Brianna Lawson who probably just can't get along with people? I don't know what it is. Like, it's something, you know what I'm saying? Because when you see Maya in this season, because this mostly takes place in book 4, and it's just like, could they bop around, like, a lot? It's just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, the whole Maya situation was weird. People was happy to see her back. Then she's kind of in and out. She's very vague. We saw her hang out with what's his name? Allison's brother. What is his name? Jason. Because we see her hang out with him one time, and we don't know why. And still to this day, we don't know why. And like, but then later on at the party, she had a giant, like, wait, can I even say this on YouTube? Pot. I'll just say pot. Like a huge, like, blunt, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, did she get it from him? Because remember, he's supposed to be clean. He'll still drink on occasion, like, the next season, but he's completely sober and clean this season. So I doubt he will be able to get that for her because he doesn't do that stuff no more. So why was she talking to him? And then when you get into next season, it's just kind of like, yo, what the heck is this crap? And I'll get into her a little bit more, and I get into her character because it's just kind of like, this don't make no sense. So it does make me wonder if Marlene King is one of those type of, like, showrunners and stuff, because if she likes you, you get a lot of like good material with your character. If she don't like you, then you get fired, like Lindsay Shaw. And Lindsay Shaw, Paige character, literally does make an appearance towards the very end of the season. And she goes on to do more in the third, but then of course, as Lindsay pointed out on her now canceled podcast, I Marlene King don't like her. Shay Mitchell don't like her. And it has to do with the drugs and stuff like that that Lindsay was doing at that time, to where she got fired from the show, and then many years later they brought her back. And so it's kind of like, if I Marlene King likes you, like she likes Troyan and everything, she'll give you a heck of a lot more material to do. If she don't like you, then you just off the show and everything. And it does make me wonder about the actress who plays Jenna, whose her real name escapes me. Tamerlane, I think her name is. See, on that podcast that's now canceled that she had with Lindsay, she mentioned that the creators of the show, being I Marlene King and stuff, they wanted her to actually be a recurring character and part of, like, the actual ensemble cast, kind of like main or just like recurring and stuff like that, right? She turned them down because she said the reason why she did it was because of money. She said that if you're a guest star, you get paid way more money than that of a recurring star. And so she was just thinking about the money, which she said now she regrets doing, and she wishes she would have been like part of the, like, main cast, because you see the effect of what happened in the next couple of seasons. Like, her character's barely in the third season, doesn't really have much to do, and then of course we all know what happens in later seasons and stuff, and it's just kind of like, yeah, it makes you wonder if the showrunner like has some type of like grudge or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Because she got turned down by not being a recurring character, because her character did a lot this season, and I mean a lot. And then all of a sudden she didn't. you know and so, like, and of course, Troyan, everybody knows, like, everybody speculates that's I Marlene King's favorite, you know what I'm saying? Like, because all the stuff that like Spencer does, Spencer is the one who figure out who A is and stuff. In other seasons she does a heck of a lot more, especially in the last season, and it's because, no offense to the other girls, but she is the best actress out of all of them. They're good, don't get me wrong, but every material they give her, she is able to deliver, you know what I'm saying? And so because of that, you see she gets way more to do in like the show. Also, a person who became a huge fan favorite after this season is the actress Janelle, who plays Mona. She got bumped up to a series regular after this season and stuff, because she was just like, a guest appearance and stuff. And of course, she went on to like the spin-off series and stuff like that. So if you're popular with the audience, and if I Marlene King likes you, then you get a whole lot more better stuff to do. Speaking of I Marlene King, I do give it up for her for making a really good season. She wrote 2 episodes, the season mid-season finale, and then the season finale. And, she did a pretty good job with the twists and the turns and, the reveals and this and that. But she did kind of fumble here and there, not just in this season, but as the rest of the series went on and everything. I said it before, like, there are times where something will be really good, really juicy, and then it'll be like a fake out. Or there'll be just some things that are kind of confusing, like this whole A thing. Like, you assume it's the actual main A, but now we know there is a team. The team got elevated in the next season and the next season after that. But the problem is, when at the end of every episode, there's always A doing something with the hoodie and the black gloves and, moving the hand really slow. And so, because there's now an A team, you don't know which A member that is. And when you do find out, it's very shocking. Now, that could have been something great if they would have kept those characters bad, but those characters never remain bad. They always remain good or sympathetic. Even the A reveal themselves, there's a line where A's all like, I did everything you wanted. So it's like, well, hold up now. Is A not the mastermind? Is A just following instructions from this person in a red coat? And the whole red coat storyline was really big in season 3 and in season 4. And then in season 5, they had the big, a second A reveal and everything because of the whole red coat being A. And it's just kind of like, well, hold up now. I thought A's supposed to be smart. I thought A's supposed to be a genius. I thought A's supposed to be out for revenge. And now we know that A really doesn't do much. Like, A basically has other people doing A activity, and apparently A was taking instructions from somebody else. And it's just, it ruins that. But fans don't care because they still love the big A reveal and, oh, and this person they worship and, stuff like that. So in turn, she drops the ball on stuff like that. And like, I wish she would have stayed a bit closer to that of like the books. Because like when they kept keeping certain characters way past their prime and some characters needed to either like leave the series or die like they did in the book, then it just never really happened in the show because these characters become so popular. She doesn't want to get rid of them. And same thing with the whole Ezra thing. The whole Ezra-Arya relationship is disgusting. Every time I watch it and rewatch it on screen, I want to throw up. And Marlene King messed that entire thing up. And you know what? I don't even fully blame her. I blame her and I blame ABC Family, which is now Freeform. Because you have to remember, Marlene King is the boss of everybody on the show, but ABC Family and ABC is her bosses and stuff. And of course, if the network knows that the fan base likes a certain thing, then they make the showrunner enforce that thing and have a whole lot more of it, like the whole Ezra and Arya thing. The best relationship in the entire series and the grossest in the entire series. And I truly believe the network's kind of like, oh, people like this relationship. Who likes that relationship exactly? Oh, I know who likes that. Young girls who don't know no better and gross, nasty, icky adult people who mess around with young people. So I believe the network catered to that. And they forced Marlene King to cater to that. And so she catered to that. You will see interviews and everything with her talking about, oh, they're soulmates. They're soulmates and everything. Like, they truly love each other. Would say that on social media, would say that in interviews, had the star saying that. And then I saw somewhere there was some shirts made of that. And I'm just like, ugh. Like, they literally brainwash people into thinking this is the best relationship in the entire series. And they banked on that. And even the author of the book, Sarah Shepard, even she knew when to end that relationship. Oh, but not Marlene King and the ABC Family / Freeform. They just kept it going. And it still is alive till this day and everything. And I'm just like, why? Why was this relationship so important? Why would you? They fantasized grooming and everything to a bunch of young teenagers who don't know no better, who have crushes on adults. And then you gotta remember about the adults who actually groom these young people and date these young people. To them, they're all like, oh, this speaks to me and everything. They understand me and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you're not supposed to be sympathetic. Nobody's supposed to understand you. This is not supposed to be for you. So I really hate when they did this crap. And it was just so disgusting. It's hard to rewatch this show because you literally want to fast forward through the Arya and Ezra stuff. And the reaction of the parents allowing that to happen. And Arya's reaction is just even more disgusting. It literally made Arya into a very unlikable character because of what Arya does to try to continue this relationship and threaten her parents and stuff like that. Like, it's just like horrible. And not only that, but like, I do not care what Marlene King says. I do not believe she's known all along who A is. She's known all along who Uber A is and AD and all this other crap, because things change and there are other writers in the room. And because of the podcast that's no longer here, because Christy Carson Romano decided just to cancel every podcast that she ever did, because of Podco and everything. The cool thing about that podcast was the interviews with the other stars, who literally revealed, oh yeah, at some point in time, they contemplated me being A and everything. There was a point in time where I was supposed to be A, and then those storylines got dropped and blah, blah, blah. So it's literally, you seriously just had no, like, they literally had no idea who was going to be their A, because they wanted to change it from that of the books. Because they were like, oh, well, people are going to anticipate that. So that's the point. And so, like, because of that, they created the A team with all those possible A's. But then the problem is they didn't keep them bad. They made them sympathetic, and they made the characters to where they was blackmailed into doing this horrible stuff. And it makes me wonder if that was not the intentional plan. It makes me wonder if this character was supposed to be bad all along. But then by season 3, they didn't know what to do with these characters, because by that time, some of these stars just like, look, you got me guest starring on this show. I'm barely in the show. My character ain't got much to do, and sometimes my character does really stupid stuff. I'm gonna go take a gig someplace else. And one of the stars actually went on to star in another show, co-star in another show. So they had to drop that star's storyline, and that person was part of the A team. And so it's kind of like, this is the problem when you have all these ideas and like you kind of don't know what to do with them, and you don't cement it in the ground and keep your stars there. Because, you know, why would you want to be on this show and you could be on another one making more money and having more screen time? Like, take that of Brianna Lawson. Like I said before, I still think something happened behind the scenes, because like I said before, a long time ago, she got fired from the show and didn't even know she got fired from the show. She found out she got fired from the show from an extra on the show while she was someplace else doing something else. She was either at like just a regular event or she was auditioning for something else. And she found out that Maya got, like, you know, killed off at the end of the season. And she's just kind of like, wait, what? Because the thing about Maya is that Maya runs away from home, but she runs away from home very, very, very early in the season. Like somewhere between like the middle. So from the middle all the way to the end, there are at least like 10 or 11 episodes, and you don't see Maya, but you constantly hear her, and she's constantly texting Emily, and then all of a sudden she dies off screen and you don't even see her dead body. And it's just kind of like, so people ain't gonna want to stay for a show they don't even know if, you know, they don't have much to do. They go and they audition other stuff. And I know what you're probably saying, well, how come, like, you know, the Maya actress just didn't watch the show to find out if she died? Most people who are a main character of a television show don't watch their own show because they don't have enough time or they just don't want to. So do you really think a recurring character is going to watch the show? No. And so, like, so that's one of the things that always bugged me. So I don't believe half of what she says when it comes to this show. About, like, when she says, oh, Arya and Ezra are soulmates. I don't believe that. I believe that's the studio wanting her to say that. I don't believe, like, you know, she truly knew who all the A's were really gonna be in the big reveals. Because I think I read somewhere that the A reveal of this season That star literally said they had no idea until like either that morning or a couple of days prior in the script. And because, the A's are barely on the show, you just don't know who it is. You know what I'm saying? And so I really don't think she really had a plan when trying to figure out who all this stuff is. Because, like I said before, A-Team makes no sense. But I will give it up for her for putting out a really good season. Until she messed the show up. Man, she messed the show up by getting too ambitious and trying to up the ante more and more and more by the following seasons. And she amped it up so much that it just made no sense and it came off as looking desperate. And when you get to the actual series finale, it's just kind of like, what the heck is that? Like, seriously. And then she made a spin-off. The first one was kind of like, what the heck is this crap? Then the second spin-off is just kind of like, really? You're bringing back two characters from the show and one of them should be like in prison and everything? And it's kind of like, well, what happened at the end of the series finale that is never addressed in the spin-off show? At least one of them is not. There's two things that end in the series finale. Only one of them is addressed that piss people off. And then the other one is just never explained. It's kind of like, how can you not explain the major thing? Because that was such a major, major, major freaky thing. And simply fact that she don't know because she just didn't plan out that far. And another problem I have is like with the whole A fake out stuff, it's kind of like, okay, A does certain things when it's actual AA, does actual odd things this season, right? And so you assume it's A, but then you find out it's part of the A team. And so it's kind of like, okay, that's how A is able to be in two places at once. Not only that, but it takes away from the main A, because when you see all this creepy stuff happening to the liars, you want to believe it's main A doing that and it's a real threat, but it's actually just other A members. And then when it gets to the next season, it's all like, oh, I was being blackmailed, and it's like, really? But then there's some things that are explained that still don't make no sense. Like the whole beautiful eyes thing, the whole Dr. Sullivan thing, the kidnapping thing, and who paid her off. When you find out who actually did that, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And when this person says, oh, I found Dr. Sullivan and rescued the person, then that should have clicked in my head back then was, how the heck did you even find that person? It was never shown you found this person. And it's just kind of like, this is the blemishes I'm talking about. Because with a second and third watching everything, you just kind of like, that don't make no sense. Like, that's who that person was, and it wasn't actually A. And then there's the person who literally tried to kill Emily twice this season. Like, there's a person who tried to kill her with carbon monoxide poisoning, and there's another person who tried to kill her while being in the greenhouse and manhandle her and Spencer. And it's just kind of like, well, who exactly was that? Was it A, or was it like a fake out A? Till this day, we don't know because like Marlene King has no idea who that was, and she has not explained it yet. Normally, Marlene King will seasons later be like, oh yeah, that was actually that person, and oh, this person killed this person, but she does that once the season wraps up and the show is near cancellation, when she starts explaining this stuff. I hate when showrunners do that. And it's just like, no, this should have been shown in the show with the reveal and who it was and everything. Don't tell us years later when you remade something up in your head. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem with her. Marlene King will write something good, but she sometimes can't stick her landing. And I really hate that because it's kind of like I even had to look it up online. I went on Reddit. I used Google AI. I'm like, who the heck literally was in the greenhouse trying to legit kill the liars and everything? Who almost got hit? Well, who actually did get hit by Hannah with a car? Lost the cell phone. Got so pissed they bust their hand through the windshield. Who the heck was that? And I don't believe it was the actual A once you know who actual A is and everything. So who the heck was it? And then when you find out, because there's only a couple of people it could be. Like I said before, I already said Jenna, and Jenna is working with Garrett. And then there are like a couple of others. But then when you find out that Walden has been doing things behind the scenes in other seasons that you don't get to see on screen, it's just kind of like, well, who the heck was that and everything? And it's just kind of like, because I, Marlene King, don't know, and the writers don't know, and we will never ever find out. And the whole Dr. Sullivan thing, it was good at first until it became stupid. And this is why I don't understand when Dr. Sullivan showed up on the spin-off series and everybody's like, yes, the queen is back. She ain't no queen. She was barely a character. And she wasn't even an interesting character. She was just a boring character. Why? This is why I'm saying things can't be that simple. Fans need to truly look and analyze stuff and stop going with the flow and thinking everything's all right, everything's awesome, everything's great, because there are blemishes and fractures in this show, and some people just don't want to address that stuff. And it becomes frustrating when you do like a second watch after the series has ended. And it's just kind of like, well, that don't make no sense in. This don't make no sense in. That don't make no sense. And this was a good season and everything, but that don't make no sense. And it's because I, Marlene King, legit had no idea and just making stuff up as the years has gone by, or figure it out in her head, but just never told nobody until years later after the show ended. And I hate that crap. Another thing I like about this season is the parents' participation. The parents are here, they bop in and out like they always do, but they are given some pretty good stuff and they're actually engaged in their kids' life, even though their kids completely disrespects them. And it gets even worse as the series progress. Like how Arya treated her parents, threatening her dad and everything, that was uncalled for. Every time one of the girls, suspects one of their parents of being A of all things, they just kind of back up from them like their parents gonna murder them and everything. Or when they find out their parent had an affair with somebody, they back up like somebody's gonna murder them or something like that. And this has happened both this season and the third season, with both like Arya and Spencer, to where they found out one of their parents was like boom, boom, booming with somebody else, and they're just backing up from their parent like they're gonna murder them and everything. I'm so disgusted by you, even though I've done like way worse than you. Or what is it like? Next season, in third season, Hannah. God, like it's kind of like the parents trying to keep them in the house, trying to keep them safe. Like, no, mom, I have to go confront my stalker in the woods by myself with my friends and no weapon and everything. And we're probably not even gonna bring our cell phone, so we won't be traced. Don't worry, mom, I'll be safe, and you can't do nothing about it because I'm gonna go confront my stalker. It's like I'm just like over exaggerating, but that's basically how conversations are with them and everything. And it started also in this season. Also, what started in this season, I feel, is Hannah being stupid. I truly believe season 2 is the season that solidified Hannah as being the dumb one. Arya is the hopeless romantic. Spencer is the smart one. Emily is the punching bag and the sweet and innocent one, and Hannah's just plain dumb. And once they saw how good I think Ashley Benson, I think her name is, was good at playing like a dumb blonde character, they just kept going with it as the series progressed. Hannah does some really dumb things with technology twice in this season that is just kind of like, what the world are you doing, girl? And of course, they got Spencer constantly blaming everybody. You're A, you're A, you're A. Oh, this is when Allie got murdered. And oh, this person murdered them. Oh, let me go to the police and everything because this person's a murderer. And then all of a sudden, her sister gets blamed. So I'm like, no, you can't go to the police. That's my sister. And stuff. And it's just like one of those type of things. And oh my God, there's so many adult teenage relationships this season. There's at least four I can think of. And they mostly just revolve around the same people. And I hate when they do this crap because this show fantasizes grooming like big time and stuff. It's like I don't get what's up with all the actually no, there's like five adult like messing around like storylines and messing around with young people. Also, I forget, like I'm gonna rewatch season 1 after I'm done recording this. Isn't Toby supposed to be in school? Like, or did he get kicked out for some reason because of the events of last season? Because it's like this dude is never in school. And it's weird because this is another thing they kind of forgot about. It's like when the season started and everybody in town thought the girls were like lying about the whole Ian thing. Everybody in town hated Toby for all of like one episode and they completely forgot about it. And it's just kind of like, I thought everybody's supposed to hate this dude. Why everybody's okay with him now? Like, y'all dropped the ball? And everything. But yeah, I can't really think of too much more to say about season 2 before I go into character profile. I'm going to try to go to the character profiles very quickly because I think I'm up to like 40 or 50 minutes by now. But for the most part, yeah, this was a really good season. There's just some things I wish they would have elevated a bit more, like the whole Kate storyline. They could have got so much mileage out of that, but they didn't. But yeah, like whatever. But anyway, on to like the characters. Ian. So Ian doesn't really show up in season 2, only in like flashbacks and video recordings. It is found out that something crazy happened before Allison died. He was in, like, he put a camera and he recorded himself, making out with like Allison, this and that in the woods. But then he was in like her room and he put up a camera and Jenna and Garrett was there. And so he wanted to catch them on tape and they knew they was being recorded. And then all of a sudden Melissa showed up, making things very suspicious. It is later found out that he is part of the NAT organization. And basically that organization is something that happened in college with him and Jason and other people like Garrett. And they would mess around with young girls and record and stuff like that. Really sick and disgusting, depraved behavior and everything. I really wish they never put that in the show. So you think all this is going to lead up to something really big. And so, of course, it's speculated that he killed her because he said that he killed her in season 1 finale. And then later on, he gets pushed and gets tangled in some ropes. And he is hung. Turns out his body is missing. And it's later revealed that he untangled himself. Oh, by the way, it's I, Marlene King, that said all this. Of course, because we don't get to see it. But he untangled himself. He fled and he was still alive. And what's her name? Melissa was pregnant. So at some point in time, and we don't know how or why, he decides he's going to kill himself. And yes, he actually did kill himself. I, Marlene King, later said it was Ian that killed himself. But we don't know the reasoning why. We only have speculation. Maybe the tapes got out and he didn't want people to find out he was messing with like a minor. Then, there's the whole Spencer thing. He messed around with her. And so we don't really know. But then A found his body, put it in like this place, and took his cell and started corresponding with that of Melissa and everything, tricking the liars in that of Melissa. And A is the one who wrote the suicide note. This is one of those things that's a fumble and where Marlene King just doesn't know how to stick the landing. I don't know if the actor was involved in another show or movie or anything like that, but it's one of the things that where it's kind of like, if you can recast other characters, you probably should just recast him. Funny note, the dude who plays Ian, he was in Final Destination 3 as one of the main stars. I had no idea at that time. Lucas. Poor Lucas. He still pines for that of Hannah. He is the nerd slash geek who wants the hot girl and everything. But he can't have her because she loves another. And even when her and Caleb broke up because of that note that Mona wrote and everything, now it's his perfect opportunity to try to get her, but he doesn't. Instead, he brings Caleb back home and him and Hannah resume their relationship. Hannah tries to hook him up with another girl, but it just didn't work out. He only has eyes for Hannah and Hannah only. The writers never know what the heck to do with this character. At one point in time, he started acting weird. That seems like he might be A. And so he even creeps Spencer out because of the way he keeps acting. This is because of the director who didn't understand his character. Then when he's on a boat with Hannah at night in the middle of like a party out in the river or ocean or wherever the heck he was at, I think it was like the river or a lake. It is a lake house, so it was a lake. And so he's all like, I have to tell you something, Hannah. I have to tell you something. And he acts all creepy and he's being vague. And before all that happened, he called like a crisis hotline talking about he did something terrible. Now he's got to face the consequences and it's going to go down tonight. So it's making him seem very, very creepy because of this whole red herring thing. Only for Hannah to get creeped out and hit him with the paddle and then swim back to the lake house. Then all of a sudden, it's revealed off screen he survived, and though they can't find his body, and he's missing. He's missing a shoe. And he sneaks into Hannah's place, and you see one shoe print that's muddy and wet and everything. And it's just kind of like, his shoes will be dry by now. So I don't know why he's leaving the stain. But it gets weirder than that because there's only one shoe print, as in one footprint. Did he hop in her house? Why isn't there a shoe print and a footprint next to it? He has 2 feet. But then, after creeping her out some more, he finally reveals why he's been acting weird. And it's the dumbest reason ever. Caleb had a whole bunch of money. He wanted Lucas to keep it in safekeeping in his bank account till he comes back into town. And Lucas spent it all on gambling. He felt so bad, he contemplated leaving town and wanted to run away and all this other crap. That's why he was acting creepy and weird, because he spent some dude's money. That is the dumbest reason I've ever seen, but this is when sometimes the writers just do dumb things. Now, spoiler alert, Lucas is part of the A-Team. Now, in the season, A gave Emily a massage at a spa. And Emily had no idea because, she had her eyes closed and she was asleep. When she woke up, the masseuse is all like, I haven't even started yet. We assume this is AA, but it turned out to be a member of the A-Team. So, Marlene King revealed this, of course, because it's never revealed on the show, of course. And then in the next season, he mentions he's part of the A-Team and that he was being blackmailed and he wanted to leave town because Abe was blackmailing him. And it's just kind of like, why would he join the A-Team if Allie is dead and everything? Supposedly or whatever, and why would he try to hurt the other liars for? He has no beef with them. Yeah, he's upset with Hannah for not loving him, but that's not to the point where he'll do all this stuff, and he's not that tough. So I doubt he was the one who manhandled them and everything. But it's just this is one of those characters that where his storyline should have ended a long time ago. They couldn't figure out what to do with him. Melissa is another person that the liars suspect. They think she killed Allie because apparently Melissa had beef with Allie about something because they had to do something with Ian because Allie was messing around with Ian and Melissa found out and just simply didn't like that. And so it's literally to the point where all the girls and even Spencer think that Melissa did it. And the girls want to turn Melissa in when they see her on the video, but we don't actually see what Melissa does in this video or say anything. She just says, "Where is she?" Like she's pissed, like, you know. And so Spencer does not want to turn her sister in. However, she is weary of her sister because of the simple fact that Melissa has been acting weird, and Melissa believes that Ian is alive when the girls keep saying he is dead. Melissa, like I said before, has been texting A thinking it's like Ian and talking about like the baby and this and that. Then all of a sudden she starts to have a relationship with Garrett, and he's not no good person. And it's once again, they don't know what to do with this character. Spoiler alert, in the last episode, there's a masquerade ball. And so somebody was dressed as a black swan. And it turns out it was Melissa the entire time. She was part of the A team. But why? Oh, because A was blackmailing her. That's always the line. Oh, I'm being blackmailed. Because they don't want this character to be too bad, so they have to give them a sympathetic reason as doing why they're doing it. That and the actress is barely on the show and later went on to be on another show. I swear. I swear. Kate is that of Hannah's stepsister, or soon to be. And she doesn't like the idea of her dad, like, you know, about to be married, about to have another child, that, you know, because he barely is around for her. And so there's this whole storyline with I think Ashley's the mom's name, which is funny because Ashley Benson and plays Hannah, the character on the show. Her mom named Ashley. But anyway, Ashley and her dad have been hooking up and this and that. So there's probably hope that maybe he'll go back to like Hannah and the mom, right? But he's still getting married to this other lady, Isabella. And so like Kate and Hannah just don't get along, period. And it's because when Kate was trying to be nice to her, Hannah did not like her and talked bad about her on the microphone, and Kate overheard it with her friends. Since then, Kate has been wanting revenge. They don't suspect her as being A, but like she's just a mean girl all around. She tried to set Hannah up by saying Hannah sent out her news at the locker room to the entire school, almost getting Hannah expelled and everything. Also, to get back at her, she got Hannah drunk at a party, and Hannah made a fool of herself by throwing up on Isabella's wedding dress. And Kate pretended to have alcohol too, but only drunk water. Her grandma, Hannah's grandmother actually found out that ruse and everything. And so once they figured out that Kate, like, you know, faked the nude picture and everything by putting her head on somebody else's body and saying Hannah did it and getting Hannah drunk and all this other crap, the dad still married them, and that's it. That's the end of Kate, and we never see or hear from her again. They completely dropped the ball with this character. This character could have been a good rival to that of Hannah. Instead, they just did little rivalry type stuff that only lasted for like a few episodes. But this could have lasted the entire season. Sometimes it kind of feels that way because of how it's paced out. There are so many episodes that go in between Kate's appearances and stuff. And I really wish the Kate character could have stayed on the show. Like, you know, just because she could have been a good rivalry for Hannah and stuff like that. But it's kind of like, man, she's that pissed, all because Hannah talked smack about her, to where she would do like all this like evil stuff. Like, that's a good vengeful type character, you know what I'm saying? That they could have got some good mileage out of, but they dropped the ball. You know, it's crazy. The Kate character looks so much like Renee Rapp. She could have replaced her in The Sex Lives of College Girls. when Renee left the show. But of course, the actress who plays Kate is a little bit older. But then again, the actress who plays Kimberly is around the same age. And so, what does it really matter? You know what I'm saying? Caleb is back in town and everything. He's going through some stuff. Most of the stuff that happens with Hannah is a result of him. Hannah loves him to death and wants to keep him safe. But I know what you're asking. After season 1, Mona did not give Hannah that note, and so Caleb left. Like I said before, Lucas brought him back and told what Mona did. This causes a fraction between that of Mona and Hannah, and Caleb starts to date Hannah again. And so the thing about them, they really love each other. They're probably tied at like the second best couple in the show. But for the most part, like I said before, all of Hannah's storylines revolve around him. First, when he comes back, it's his adoptive mother, foster mother, taking all his money. Hannah intervenes and threatens the woman. When this person is following Caleb in the car, Hannah does her incognito look and gets him out of safety, and then later threatens the man, only to find out that his birth mother is looking for him. We never get to see his biological parents, nothing like that. But it turns out he later has a bunch of money and they send him stuff like that. So now he went from being the poor kid living at school to being like a kid with like money and stuff. Don't know exactly where he's living, but he's going back and forth from his real parent to back to where he's living in Rosewood and stuff. And for the most part, he is helping Hannah out, and the girl's trying to figure out who this A person is. But the problem is they won't tell him what or who A is. But he becomes so protective that when Hannah starts to protect him, because A is like, yo, keep your techno boy out my crap and everything before I go after him and stuff. And A is out for blood this time. And so Hannah gets so scared, she literally destroys a flash drive with tons of pictures and photos from A's cell phone, because A dropped the cell phone and, Caleb was the one cracking it and everything for all of the information and all the files, and Hannah literally destroyed that, and they could have took it to the police. One of Hannah's stupid things she does this season. But then he say to back up, and he's constantly going through it again, only for A to set him up with the police trying to frame a bunch of stuff on him. Luckily, Hannah and Spencer came to the rescue and everything. For the most part, that's really all he does this season. He just is loving to Hannah and is trying to figure out who or what this A thing is, even though they will not tell him. Toby. So the first episode starts off with people not liking him, but then all of a sudden people just completely forget about that. He starts to work with Jason as doing handyman type stuff, and he needs a truck. And so Spencer steals Melissa's engagement ring, pawns it off, and buys him a truck. Only for A to get the ring back and not give it back. And so she can never get the money back to Melissa, but then that storyline is completely dropped. Him and Spencer are going strong with her defying her father. Even to the point that when he tries to stop Spencer for seeing him, she hops in his car and drives off because she's mad at her dad. And it's a really intense scene. I like the way it's choreographed and stuff. Other than that, most of his dealings is with Spencer and Spencer's father. What's his name? I said his name. Toby found a field hockey stick that belonged to Spencer. There's something mysterious about this hockey stick that will later be explained in other seasons. And so the dad is trying his best to keep that thing hidden and keeping information from that of Toby and that of Spencer. Only for, of course, Toby to tell Spencer and Spencer to be weary of that of her father. And so at some point in time, A is going after all the liars, boyfriends and girlfriends and stuff. It's to the point where A wants them to break up with them, or A is going to do something to hurt them. They don't really pay too much attention to it until somebody unloosened the nuts and the bolts and the scaffolding, and that of Toby fell and hurt himself really bad. This scares Spencer to the point where she needs to keep him safe by keeping him far, far away. So when they was having a a rough patch in their relationship, whatever that doctor dude who's British kissed Spencer, she had Emily be all like, yeah, she been cheating on you and stuff like that. He gets pissed, and him and Spencer break up. And Spencer is so heartbroken by this. Him and Emily really don't have that much screen time, which is weird because they're supposed to be like best friends and everything. And that's something that's always been bugging me about the show. They're really close friends, but he's barely interacting with her. And so I do like the screen time they always have together, but of course she's keeping stuff from him too, and he doesn't like stuff being kept from him. And so when he comes back, he's now attending to Jenna because she just had surgery and stuff like that. And you can tell he still does not like Jenna and everything. And so it's later revealed that he's the one who found Dr. Sullivan and everything and brought her back. And him and Spencer, they start dating again. However, spoiler alert. Okay, so Miss Sullivan is like the girls' therapist, right? After the girls were considered liars about the whole Ian thing, their parents really did not want them together, want them to be friends. They had to sneak and be friends. And so they had to go talk to a counselor. And the girls felt very open that they could, share stuff with the counselor. And they was going to tell the counselor about A until A found out. So anyways, they was literally, like, Emily was literally about to go tell, like, the counselor about A, and, Hannah wanted to at some point. But at one point, Dr. Sullivan got kidnapped by A. And as a result, A set the girls up along with Jenna and Garrett. And so, like, A made them go through a bunch of scavenger type hunt type thing to find Dr. Sullivan. And A pretended that Dr. Sullivan was buried underground. There was a shovel there. The shovel is the same shovel was the murder weapon for like Allie and stuff, right? So the girls are frantic. They're like, they see the straw in the ground. They're like digging. There's no real body there, just like a fake mannequin type thing. Anyways, as episodes go by, the girls are like, arrested. They go to like community service and everything. It was really cool, and I wanted to see more of that. But, what happened to Dr. Sullivan? The girls kind of just forget about her, and so do the writers. She's just missing. The girls know she's gone, but they don't know where she at. They just know A has her. But they're not going to the cops to tell them, like, hey, this mysterious stalker has, like, kidnapped this woman. Stuff like that. So episodes literally go by. You hear no mention of Dr. Sullivan. And so at one point in time, you see Dr. Sullivan sitting down and, like, before she got kidnapped, talking to somebody. It's A. Then all of a sudden you see her at like a diner table at a diner, and somebody gives her an envelope, and she's all like, I did everything you wanted me to. And they give her the envelope, she leaves, and it's just kind of like, wait, is she working for A? Is she being blackmailed? What the heck is going on, right? And so then the waitress looks at A and is all like, oh, hi, beautiful eyes, you're back and everything. You want the same thing you had last time? And so you assume, once you find out who A is at the end of the season, you assume it's that person, being called Beautiful Eyes and everything. But I'll leave it to Marlene King to screw everything up. It couldn't have just been that simple for her. No, she had to make it thrilling and everything. She revealed, because it was never shown in season 2, she revealed that Beautiful Eyes, the person who kidnapped Dr. Sullivan and gave her the envelope and everything, was Toby. This would have been a huge reveal in season 2 and everything, knowing that Toby was like part of the A-team and all this other stuff. He turned rogue and like, what the heck's going on? You know what I'm saying? Well, anyways, towards the very end of the season, when A is like, captured by the cops and everything, Dr. Sullivan just comes out of nowhere and is all like, A was like blackmailing me and blah 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 blah. And Toby's all like, I found Dr. Sullivan. And I never thought about it until now. How the heck did he find her? Because after Spencer broke his heart, he left town and everything. And we didn't see him since until he came back with and started hanging out with Jenna, taking care of her. But when the heck did he ever have time to find her, and where did he find her at? So I never put two and two together. More of a spoiler alert. In season 3, it is then finally revealed that Toby is part of the A team and everything. And he said, this is the part that really gets me. He said that he did it to get close to this Uber A to try to help him protect the girls, especially Spencer. So he was pretending to be bad and do all this stuff. Really? He's just pretending. Now, in season 3, it makes sense that he's pretending. But in season 2, no. It don't make no sense whatsoever. And, so now you got to stop and think about it. Okay. Who the heck manhandled Spencer and Emily? Who tried to kill Emily with the carbon monoxide and everything? Now, Toby is pissed at both Emily and Spencer because Spencer's his girlfriend. She's not telling him nothing. She kissed the doctor dude. Emily's the best friend who's not telling him nothing and helping her along with the lie and everything. So, okay, I can see him being the one to manhandle those two. And not Lucas, because Lucas is not that strong. And when you find out who A is, there's no way that person can manhandle them and everything. But it's like, if he was just playing along, why the heck did he try to kill Emily twice and try to seriously hurt Spencer? I truly believe that it was intended for Toby to remain bad, but of course they realized something. If fans would have realized that he's been bad this entire time, like he is in the book, they would never accept it and they would be pissed. So I truly believe that they switched it in season 3 to make it seem like he's just playing along with A and all this other crap. You know what I'm saying? And it would have been a huge thing if he would have been evil. But oh no, the fans, they would have revolted. They would have rioted and everything. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you just have to do that. Because it's just so odd that he went to the extreme of trying to harm them. He's trying. Because in season 3, that's the thing. In season 3, he wasn't trying to harm them or kill them or nothing like that. But then all of a sudden in season 2, he's trying to seriously hurt them and crap. And we had to find out he's Beautiful Eyes after the season ended. That's some crap, man. That's why I hate all these fake out craps. Because I was seriously thinking it was actually A. Because A actually has beautiful eyes and everything. And, now we know it's him. He's beautiful eyes and everything. That just don't make no sense. And it explains, apparently he was the one going to see Dr. Sullivan, talking to her and everything, and not A. So it just kind of cheapens that whole plot and everything. They should have just kept him evil or something like that. But then we find out how exactly A was blackmailing Dr. Sullivan. I forget what season it was. Heck, it might have even been in the spinoff. It was revealed that A kidnapped Dr. Sullivan's child and everything. And a child we've never seen, of course. And, and it's just kind of that sounds like something Roberto would make up for a spin-off. For real, man. And it's just kind of seriously, this don't make no sense now because, okay, there was let's see, there was A And who's gonna be scared of A? Come on now. It's like a twig. And then you ain't gonna be scared of Lucas. You continue to tell me Dr. Sullivan couldn't manhandle one of them, and Jenna's blind. Melissa probably could have gave her like, a good rough, like a good like puncher here and there and everything. But she's still older than Melissa. Now, Garrett, okay, I can see that because he's a cop and everything and a guy. But do we really truly know it was him? Maybe he was the one who tried to kill, like, Emily, or tried to rough her and Emily up. Because once again, it's never revealed who tried to murder Emily and who roughed up Spencer and, like, Emily and stuff. And then if it was really Toby, this thing don't make no stinking sense when it comes to Toby being part of Team A in season 2. Dr. Sullivan literally said that, like, A was blackmailing her. And we know it has to do with her child and everything. And so, okay, so she knows it's Toby. And so she did everything Toby wanted. And she left town, and then all of a sudden, here she's showing back up with Toby's all like, he rescued me, and it's like, that don't make no sense, unless she was still scared about the child. But then once she saw who A was, and know that A is going to the hospital, and Garrett has been arrested, and Jenna is blind, and Lucas is a nerd, and Melissa is nowhere to be found, and she's pregnant. So yeah, Melissa couldn't have taken her because she's pregnant. Now this whole Toby reveal makes absolutely no positive sense whatsoever. Because why would she be afraid of Toby and then all of a sudden be cool with Toby and everything? Hi, Marlene King, I swear to God. Paige is literally just shoehorned in the last couple of episodes to replace Maya. So basically we learned that Paige father now accepts who she is. It would have been nice to see that on screen, but whatever. And so at first she kind of has, or she's with like some girl or something like that, and it makes Emily a little jealous. And then at some point when Emily is upset about the whole Maya thing, Paige tries to kiss her only for Emily to reject her. But literally, Paige is only brought in once again to replace Maya. Samara is another love interest of Emily, and she's a college student, liking that of a teenage girl in high school. A very young teenage girl in high school. Oh, Marlene King, what the world is wrong with you? And so Samara's really nice and tries to help Emily, this and that. But of course, A comes in the way, and A wants Emily to just break off everything with that of Samara. Samara and Emily were never girlfriend, but they clearly both liked each other. So Emily had to act, well, she had to hit on one of Samara's friends. And so that upset Samara, and that ended that. And it's like, why? Why did she have to be in college for? Like, it's one of those things that, like, plagues this show because they constantly want to replicate the Arya Ezra thing and then the whole Spencer and Melissa's boyfriends thing. Like, why? That doesn't make this show better. I get it, like, when it comes to Melissa, boyfriends, and Spencer, and, like, Arya and Ezra, that's in the books. But even the writer was smart enough to know when to cut that off, Maya's back. So, after disappearing after season 1, going into some type of, like, boot camp type thing for, like, bad kids, Maya is now back, and she talked about how she hated that camp and all this other stuff. But she also reveals she has an ex-boyfriend. Yes, Maya is bisexual. Took the whole fandom by storm. It took Emily by storm. But Emily is bisexual herself, even though they portray her more to be like a lesbian, but technically she is bisexual because of the two guys that she liked in this entirety of the series. Anyways, so like once she's back, of course, they start dating again. But Maya is getting these strange texts and calls from like a stranger and everything. The stranger is her ex from that camp who will not leave her alone. And so you can see Emily is taken back by Maya having like dating a dude, you know what I'm saying? And so with this, you wonder how Maya is gonna be with Emily. You know, is everything gonna be as rosy as it was last season? No, I completely forgot when Maya came back. They wrote her to be slightly horrible and everything, which I forgot to mention in my video last month about like how Pretty Little Liars treat their black characters. When Maya comes back, she hangs out with that of Emily and Emily's mom, and they have dinner. Now, remember in season one, Emily's mom hated the fact that she was a lesbian and she did not like Maya, but then she changed her ways after Maya left. Maya now knows this because Emily has told her, and so has Emily's mother. But Maya is still pissed and is treating her very nasty at dinner to where Emily has to get on to her. I get that Maya is still pissed getting sent off the camp because of that of Emily's mom, but like you think she would be more thrilled that like, you know, Emily mom now accepts her and Emily's lifestyle, but she's still salty. And so at one point, Maya tells Emily that, you know, her parents found like another joint on her and that they're freaking out. But then Maya claims, you know, it's not hers and stuff. She was just like holding it for a friend or something like that. But then it turns out it was hers because like when her and Emily was at a party, Maya was smoking a huge blunt. And I'm wondering if she got it from Jason and everything, because we saw her hang out with Jason one time, which was really odd. Anyways, the most shocking thing happened. So Maya is now gonna get sent back to the camp, but she refuses to go and she runs away from home. And when she runs away from home, that is all we see of the actress. We constantly hear from her all season because everybody keeps mentioning her name and she keeps texting that of like, you know, Emily. But other than that, she ran away. And even when Emily's father come back, they go searching for her. Well, at the very last episode, in the very last moment, it is revealed that Maya is dead. Yeah, it was a really shocking, heartbreaking thing with, you know, the girls coming back home and seeing the police and everything like that. And Maya is dead, died off screen. She was like she only came back for like a few episodes, and after that, for the rest of the season, she was just like MIA. And what makes it worse is, like I told you before, the actress found out that her character died when she was somewhere. She was either out for another audition or she was at like a fair or something like that. And an extra came up to her and was all like, you know, your character is dead on the show, right? And she had like no idea. That is so low down and stuff. Holden. So Holden is a brand new character introduced who apparently knew Arya and the girls when he was younger going to school, but his family moved to like Germany or something like that, but moved back. They're really rich and all that. He is meant to be a new love interest for that of Arya and to cause a little bit of problems for her and Ezra, but he's not. See, once the parents find out about the whole Ezra thing, they really want Arya to start dating Holden. And so you think fans assume he's gonna date her. He seems really nice and all this other cool stuff, right? Well, When him and Arya go on dates, they set it up to where Arya can go sneak off and meet Ezra, and then Holden can go sneak off and do who knows what. Nobody knows what he's doing, and a lot of the characters assume he's gay. But it turns out he's just an underground MMA fighter. That's the craziest profession they could come up with on this show. Like a teenage boy doing underground, like, MMA type stuff. I forget what he calls it, but it's basically MMA. And what makes matters worse is that he's all for Arya dating like Ezra and everything else. And not only that, but he helped lies and everything when going on their dates to her parents and stuff. They will not let this Ezra Arya thing go. And so it turns out he has a heart condition and he shouldn't even be fighting. But Arya skips her date with Ezra to go watch him fight. This could have been like one of the most perfect relationships she could have had if the writers just would have done that. He even protected her from Noel Khan. One time Arya was on the roof of like the school looking for Caleb because they had like another sleepover type thing at the school where the parents come and the kids are supposed to talk about their problems and all this other crap. As Arya's on the ladder, here comes Noel Khan for whatever reason just to like mess with Arya. And she's all scared, and here comes Holden and just like kicks the crap out of him. And he's all like, "What's wrong with you, man? I was just like playing around with her. I wasn't gonna hurt her." And it's like, dude, you clearly was gonna hurt her. You closed the door to the roof so y'all can be alone on the roof just so you can harass her and everything. Like, they literally just brought that character back in for that. And so after that, pretty much like Holden is gone and he comes back next season for the weirdest reason. He's at like a frat party or something, or Noel Khan's party, just to give like a hand stamp to underage people. Like, what was the point in bringing him back? Because it was like, oh, we kind of ended his storyline and nobody knows what happened to him. So let's just bring him back for this stupid storyline. Oh, spoiler alert. Noel Khan, he's literally brought back for no apparent reason. And so when he's brought back, all the kids are like, "Oh man, you're done being suspended." And Ezra kind of looks at him and kind of like, "Uh-oh." Because, you know what I'm saying? But then it's later revealed he's dating Mona, only to break up with Mona off screen and start dating Jenna. And other than that, like I said before, he claims he did not try to attack Arya, but I think he did. And he's literally just brought back for no reason. Spoiler alert, in next season, he's still a jerk and still dating Jenna. And like apparently Maya used to spend the nights at like his like cabin house or something like that. And it's like he's such a creepy character, but they had the nerve to try to redeem him towards the end of the series. Whatever, man. Jackie, she is the ex of that of Ezra, and she's there to be a third wheel to add like, complications to that of Arya and Ezra. And she does and everything. She's his ex, I think, like fiance, and she's a writer, and she's going to college over there at Hollis, where Ezra works at. And she can tell that Ezra and Arya are a thing. Everybody can tell by the way those two always stand next to each other and how they always talk. So, of course, like, it's gonna cause problems. And Arya does not like that. Even though she's a teenage girl dating, oh Jesus Christ, I can't, oh God. Oh God. Anyway, so A wants to make trouble, right? And it wants to break up all the liars with their relationships. And so our Ezra's next on the list. So Arya must blackmail that of Jackie because A realized that this paper or book or whatever Jackie wrote was plagiarized. And so Arya has to blackmail her about that and force her to quit and leave Ezra alone. This will, of course, will upset Ezra because of the whole blackmail thing. So Jackie goes along with it for a couple of minutes. And then she tells like Arya, nah, I'm not going nowhere. And in fact, you're gonna break up with Ezra, and if you don't, or I'm gonna tell the police about Ezra dating an underage girl. So this causes more problems. And so Arya tells Ezra, and Ezra's pissed at Jackie and everything, and berates her and blah 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 and stuff like that. And so after this, we no longer see Jackie. It's like break those two up already. And it sucks because she's a Latino woman and they portray her to be like vile and evil, and but she's actually really not, because like she saw this underage relationship type thing, and for the most part she didn't do nothing about it until Arya blackmailed her first. But then she's supposed to look like the bad woman who blackmails Arya and tries to get Ezra arrested, which is a good thing, but they try to make it seem like Jackie's the bad person. Mike. So Mike is interesting this season. They never have anything for him. And since they don't have nothing for him, no matter what season it is, they should never have introduced the character. Sometimes you have to learn to leave out the siblings. That's what happened in Goosebumps when they adapted R.L. Stine book. They couldn't think nothing for the siblings, so they took them out the show. Anyway, Mike is acting weird. He's grumpy, he's angry because his mom left in season 1. And so at some point she comes back and you think that'll make him happy, but no. And so all this season we be getting some fake outs. When Arya was at Spencer's house at night, somebody broke in, and when Arya saw that person pushed Arya. It turned out to be Mike. He's constantly breaking into people's houses at night. And Jason found that out. And then later the police had to bring him to like their home, which angers the parents and everything. Nobody knows why he's doing this, because he never truly explains himself. But we know that he is depressed because in one episode he just playing video games, minding his own business and looking really depressed, and the dad comes in and berates him, and then the mom comes in and berates him, and then he gets mad and he hurts his mom's wrist. After hurting his mom's wrist, he all of a sudden he turns over a new leaf and is now a nice person, just like that. And fans don't like the idea of how they treated Mike's mental illness, because he suffers from depression from his mom leaving the other season and his dad breaking up the family. But they handle this in the most like crappy way like possible. And not only that, but then to redeem Mike from hurting his mom's wrist and him turning into a nice person and stuff, then they have him interfere in Arya's and Ezra relationship. When Ezra finally revealed to the parents, him and their daughter have been doing stuff, Mike decides to punch Ezra in the mouth so that Byron wouldn't have to. Makes no sense, but whatever. Then Mike helps Arya with the whole Ezra thing. He helps her sneak out to go meet him and everything, and also to meet her friends. Then he asks her, why him, this older man, and she tells him, and then he realizes, oh, you're soulmates. Remember that crap? So then he tries to convince his parents that that they're soulmates and they belong together. And he's all like, have you ever asked Arya why she's with him, why she loves him? And maybe you should, because then you will understand and they can be together. What the heck is this? This is literally teaching young people and gross adults grooming methods on how to groom. What the world? Man, this is a toxic show. Ezra Fitz. Ugh, God. I feel so bad about this actor, man, because it's kind of like he's playing one of the worst characters ever. And when you get into the fourth season, oh my God, he's even worse. Oh my God. So Ezra is the adult boyfriend of teenage Arya. He's still a teacher at like their school, but he's realizing it's just not gonna work out. They can't be together that way, and eventually he's gonna get caught, so he quits. And in one of the most beautiful scenes ever, as one of them, I forget who it is. One of them's leaving the school. It's either Ezra or Arya. It's probably Ezra, and I think it's about the rain or something. And Arya runs out to meet him in the parking lot and just doesn't care and kisses him in front of, like, out in the open. And somebody could have saw that, but nobody does. And the fact that one of them ran to each other and just like, kissed each other and embraced each other. It's a beautiful scene, but it's disgusting when you know the age. And that's not the only time they do this. They literally have a Ross and Rachel moment in the rain where like they're supposed to sneak around and go on dates, and she's waiting and he doesn't show up and all this other stuff. But then he finally does show up, and like it's raining, they embrace each other, they kiss. It's beautiful, but it's disgusting at the same time. At one point he did try to break things off with her, but here she came back. And the problem with this is, like, one, is underage, and two, just like a typical teen drama show, you have the adult man and the teenage girl, and the adult man tries to break up with the teenage girl, but then uh-oh, here she comes back talking about you're not getting rid of me, and they keep coming back. This happens in every teen drama that does this. Happen in Guidance and everything. And people really need to take point on this, to where when the adult knows they're wrong and groom the teenage person, and when the adult tries to leave, the teenager always tries to come back and refuses to leave. But yet, people still blame the adult and don't blame the teenager. The blame has to be put on some of these teenagers, the ones that know exactly what they're doing and the ones that constantly come back and refuses to leave. But anyway, like I already told you, the whole Jackie thing, that didn't break them up. The whole Holden thing didn't break them up. I didn't get into the Jason thing, but that did not break them up. I'll get into him next. And so basically, he's fed up with hiding and everything, and he wants them to be open and everybody know about them because he loves her after just a couple of months. Yeah, he's in love with a teenage girl after a couple of months, only because she's attractive, and that's about it. And what's really gross, even more so than what they do, is that how she hangs out in his apartment like she owns the place. She is literally the girlfriend, but she acts like the wife. She knows where everything is. She just spends the night. And even when he's not there, she brings her friends on over like she owns the place. It is so gross. And so he decides, hey, I'm gonna tell your parents. And they do. And of course, the parents react the way any other parent would. They're pissed and everything. They forbid her to see him. So she sneaks off and see him. Byron even tries to get him a job far, 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 far away from over there. And at one point he was going to accept it, but when Arya found out that her dad's trying to get rid of her boyfriend, she gets pissed and she starts hating her father, and the mother gets upset. And Arya even tries to threaten her father, all like, oh yeah, well, if you keep me away from my man, I'm gonna call like the police. Oh, no, not the police. She's gonna get her dad fired from his job at the campus because while her dad, used to teach over there, he dated one of her students. And I'm all like, how are you going to try to get your father fired? Where you going to live at if he loses his job because your mom teaching job at a high school does not pay that much? Oh, she's going to go live with her adult boyfriend and everything. But the fact she threatened her father like that was disgusting. And it's almost like, okay, Allie is horrible. And Spencer is mean and rude, but Arya's just like vicious and stuff when she wants to be. And the difference between what Ezra did and what Byron did is that Ezra dated a teenage girl, Byron dated an adult college student. She's an adult, he's an adult. It's completely different. And they even try to tell her that on the show, like the mom tried to tell her that and everything. But then what makes it worse is that the mom starts to come around to the relationship because she sees how much tension there is in her family. So while she says she hates it, she will allow them to kind of date on like a trial basis. What the heck kind of crap is that? This show is teaching people how to groom. It's teaching people how to be brainwashed. And so they date and everything, but there's a problem. He gets, I think something happens. Byron fires him from his job to get back at him for Arya threatening him and stuff. Now he's out of a job and he's contemplating moving back home with like his mother, who's like really rich and everything. And so him and Arya don't know where their relationship is gonna go. But before I get into that, and a spoiler, he even makes the ballsy move to go to Arya's banquet ball like type thing where it's like a masquerade ball. Everybody's wearing masks. And he goes there, you know, and with a mask and costume, but then he's all like, I want to see you and I want to hold you and kiss you in front of like everybody. So they both take off their masks and they kiss around all these teenagers and adult parents. But here's the ironic thing. Nobody saw them kiss. How is that possible? And they're in the middle of the entire dance floor and everybody is surrounded around them and nobody sees the adult teacher man that they used to have class with date the teenage girl they go to school with. But now, spoiler alert, his mom does come back in the third season, but it doesn't matter because him and her are still together. They bring in his younger brother who's supposed to be like, you know, a foil for their relationship, but it does not work. Even bigger spoiler alert, they get married at the end of the series when she's now an adult. They do the time jump and all this other crap. And even more bigger spoiler alert, in the spin-off series, they're still married and gonna adopt a baby. Y'all are disgusting. Jason, so he's here to cause a little bit of trouble. He's now been recast by the dude from the first season, and I never liked that dude in the first season. His acting, he was really toxic in real life, and he's now no longer on Earth. And so they had to recast him for the new role, and the new dude has like a new hairstyle. He's blonde. Doesn't make no sense, but hey, whatever. Because the dude in the last season had brown hair. But, you know, it makes kind of sense for the De Laurentiis family because they have blonde hair. And so Jason really does stir the pot this season. Like, he was a great addition to this season, except for one thing. He likes Arya, and he's a grown man who's graduated from college. Yuck. So he's about 24, 25, 26, and he likes a teenage girl who's about 10 years younger than him. I'm Marlene King, I swear to God. So anyways, so it's interesting to see him and Arya and Ezra hang out together, and it's very awkward because she starts to have a couple of little feelings for Jason and he has them for her. And Ezra can kind of see this by the way they talk and wants to ask Arya, should I be worried and everything. Anyways, at one point, Jason and Arya kiss because Jason kisses her, but she rejects him and everything. And he's totally okay with her being with Ezra. Everybody's okay with that, except for Byron, who still lets it go on, by the way. And so, with the whole Jason thing, he's now sober, he's now clean, but he rebought back his parents' house and he's hired Toby to clean it up, where Toby finds Spencer's like field hockey stick. And they try to make Jason like a red herring. So he's always having like, and that's what made me think the actor was a bad actor because of all the weird like facial expressions he's making, how he's always looking angry. But I've seen him in other projects, so I know he can act. But they make it to where it looks like he can't on this show. He always looked bewildered, he's always looking frustrated, he's always looking mysterious, and sometimes you think he's A. And so, like, 'cause normally whenever a scene ends with him, it's always in a mysterious, angry kind of way. There are times where he's angry at Spencer for no reason and stuff like that, because Spencer is always trying to figure out who killed Allie, and she's always pointing the finger at everybody, and even pointing it at him at one point. And so, to stir the pot up even more, he has a lot of conflicts with Spencer's dad, but we don't know why. And it turns out that Allie had about like $1,400 on her. And they assume that Spencer's dad gave it to her. And they assume that she was blackmailing Spencer's dad because she found out a little secret and everything. But it turns out he wrote a check for some completely different reason. It also turns out that Spencer's mom and dad were doing some shady stuff, and they helped Jason's parents change the will and everything. And so, what the heck is going on with, like, Spencer's parents and that of Jason? Well, it turns out that the big secret that Allie found out is that Jason is the son of Spencer's dad. Yeah. Back in the day when Spencer's dad was dating Spencer's mom in law school, he cheated and fathered a child. And so, yeah. Jason and Spencer are brother and sister. And so he disappears on and off from the show. And every time he comes back, he has a different hairstyle and a different hair color. It starts off as blonde, but it turns brown later on in the series. And he's constantly cutting his hair, always making him look like a different person. And so, like, Jason also has ties to the NAT club where they scam on younger girls and stuff and videotape them. Gross and disgusting. And so at one point you do think he's A because he has like a greenhouse that he turned into like a photo lab type place. And so when some of the girls sneak in there, they find tons of pictures of Arya and some of them while she's asleep. As they like creep on out of there, he's creeping around the bushes, spying on them with a sinister look on his face. And this is why I thought the dude couldn't act, because he's always having a sinister look on his face. And so when they go back the next day, everything's all gone. It's like, why did Jason move it? So Jason's excuse is because you think he's creeping on Arya because he tried to kiss her and he could be a bad person, but it turns out it was Allie that took all those pictures for some bizarre reason, and somebody put all those pictures there, and so he had them moved and like all this other crap because A found out and all this other mess, and so he's another A fake out type person. Allie. So Allie does appear more in this season. And the actress is actually getting a bit older, thank God, because she was only like 12 or 13 in season one. I can't believe how young she was. And fans did not know that looking at her and being attracted to her and crap. Lord, this show is just perpetuating groomness and everything. Oh my God. So anyway, she shows back in a bunch of flashbacks and she's in the Halloween episode. It was fun to see her in the Halloween episode alive because she's missing in the show. And so, like, I've already reviewed the Halloween episode, so go watch that. Basically, A was creeping on her, stalking her, and stuff like that. And some of the flashback we see with her, mostly with Jason, with her trying to hurt Jason with the hockey field stick of Spencer's, and so you assume Jason might have killed her. Um, and some other things. She has a really funny line talking about y'all have like the worst apples and everything when she's at Spencer's house eating an apple because she's upset about something and like just like does not like Spencer's apples and stuff. It's like the funniest dialogue ever. And so she's constantly doing her mean girl stick and everything. But then there are some odd scenes, like when the girls at their therapy session with Dr. Sullivan, she's there talking to like all the girls. So it's like, okay, they're hallucinating, right? But then there are other times where you wonder if it's a hallucination or like, is it really her? And they keep playing with that this season. And so when Emily's about to die from carbon monoxide poisoning, Allie pulls her out and is all like, you was always my favorite, blah, 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 gives her a kiss, and then disappears. And it's like, was that really her? Was it not? Like, what's going on? Then Spencer's upset and she's like asleep, and Allie's like going through her stuff to go get something, like, shh, don't scream or nothing like that. Don't tell nobody I was here. And then she talks to Spencer. Spencer falls back asleep, wakes back up, and there's no Allie, but the front door or the side door is open. And it's like, was that really her or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make no sense. And so they keep playing with that like notion. But as the girls are like, trying to find out what Allie was up to and like, who killed her and stuff like that, um, they start to meet some guys in her past. Like one guy she hired to track a cell phone and stuff like that. And this dude was able to do it and stuff. And this other guy who she interacted with, who flew Arya in like a plane and creeped her out. Like, why would you hop in the plane with a dude you don't know? But anyway, he was all smitten by her and liked her and all this other crap. And so, like, it turns out that she would go into this other town with a dark, like, brunette wig and a red coat. And she would pretend to be Vivian Darkbloom or something like that. And so Vivian Darkbloom is who she interacted with all these men when, like, she would go into other town hiding her identity. And it turns out she was actually pretty smart to try to figure out and try to confront this A person and stuff. But when they do the whole Vivian thing, it really makes you think that it's her twin sister and everything from the book. And so this is what kept keeping fans' hope alive that hopefully, this person we keep seeing was actually the twin. And that's what they should have did, but they didn't. And so the whole red coat thing will come into play much more in the following seasons and stuff, especially in the third season. Now, the whole red coat thing, that's completely made up for the show. And like, it also turns out that Allie did find out, like, was spying on A, but I don't know if she actually knew who A was and everything, because like, A always wearing like a hoodie and everything, but it leads the girls to this motel which in the finale they do a whole Bates Motel type thing, like literally just do an homage to it. And spoiler alert, are you ready? Well, Allie's alive. Yeah, got clunked in the head, got buried alive, and somehow survived all of that. Yeah, that don't make no sense. They should have went with the whole twin thing. But who's the mysterious girl that the body they found that's in the morgue and everything? Well, you find out in the fourth season. Jenna Marshall, man, she is the MVP of this season. This is a dastardly blind girl out for revenge. She managed to do so much and can't see a lick. Like, seriously, I don't understand why her character wasn't praised this season as opposed to other characters and stuff. But, she is a horrible person. But in the book, she's actually nice, and like it's Toby who's actually the bad one. But anyway, she's still pissed about the whole Jenna thing because, well, she's blind now. And we get to see her without her glasses and her fully seen in the Halloween episode. And it shows what caused Allie to want to blind her and everything. Because Allie was jealous that Jenna is extremely hot and was getting a lot of guys' attention, and they both dressed as the same person, Lady Gaga, for Halloween. This caused Allie to want to blind her. And so, like, she did. The girls just stood there, they didn't do nothing, and they blamed it on Toby. Or Allie blamed it on Toby. Toby got sent away to juvie and everything and messed his life up. And so, like, she wants revenge for all of that. And she knows it was Allie that blinded her, but she knows the girls was just standing there and let Toby take the fall and all this other stuff. So she's out for revenge. She gets part of it, starts off by dating that of Garrett, a police officer. So she can get the autopsy report on Allie's like dead corpse and everything. Which, like I said before, spoiler alert, is not Allie's body. She also has Garrett steal that of the murder weapon from police custody and everything so that they can all just blackmail the girls because she's part of the A team. And she's the one who gives Melissa the Black Swan outfit. Throughout the entire season, the girls assume she is A. And it's like, how? She's blind. But if she has accomplices, then they can help out. And I think the actress said at one point that they were contemplating making her A or something like that. I can't remember. And so, like, you kind of do assume she's A, especially in the mid-season finale when the girls all get like arrested, and because she knows about the whole Dr. Sullivan being kidnapped because she's part of like the A team and everything, and her plan worked. The girls are even bigger suspects than what they were in the beginning of the season, and they all get arrested, and they all have to do community service in orange jumpsuits and stuff. She literally got her revenge, but then once the girls were done with that, she still wanted more and everything. She just would not let that rest. And, she could easily just go to the police or get the girl suspended like Hannah talking about, well, Hannah slapped me in the bathroom. Even Caleb threatens Jenna this season and stuff, which, of course, Garrett does not like. And so, like, but she has a very dangerous boyfriend because he's a police officer, a corrupt one at that. But she later dumps him once she's done using him to get all the police evidence that she needed and stuff. And she dumps him for Noel Kahn. And so they just start dating, but we really don't see too much interaction with them. Even in the next season, we don't see that much interaction with them. And so, like, after that, she sets her sights back on that of Toby, wanting him to help her do this and help her do that, and talking about how, like, I miss you and all this other crap. Because remember, she sexually assaulted him. And then she told him, if you tell anybody, I'll lie and say it was the other way around. She is a horrible character. A horrible character and stuff. And the actress who plays is all like, oh, she's just misunderstood. No! Sexually assaulting somebody is not misunderstood. I get where the actress is coming from with the whole blind thing and wanting revenge for that. But the whole sexual assault of Toby, no, that's not no misunderstanding. But I believe the actress meant the whole blind thing, you know? But still, she's a horrible character. But she is still the MVP of like this season and stuff. And so she's supposed to get some type of like eye replacement surgery or something like that. And like, what is it? And, you know, fans are anticipating is it working and she's going to be able to see. Well, at some point in time, one of the A people or A themselves set Jason's house on fire and she just happened to be there and everything. And she literally almost burnt alive. Why? Because she knows too much. And not only does she knows too much, she likes to do things on her own. So she's a liability and stuff. And it's a really haunting scene when she's in the house and she's on the window, near the window, and the house is burning down and it's smoke and everything and stuff. And I think it was Hannah that saved her, which causes her to apologize to the girls. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess the hatchet is buried. No, she still wants revenge. And so her surgery does not work, but she lies. It actually does work. And she can see and everything. And so she's going to use that to her advantage next season. But I believe, spoiler alert, I believe that the showrunner was a little salty to the actress Tamara and everything. I think that's her name, Tamara, or I forget her name right now. But because she mentioned that they wanted her to be a series regular, a recurring character, part of like the main thing. But she declined because she just wanted to be a guest star because it gets you more money. And you can tell that the writers and the showrunner was a little salty because of how they wrote her character in the couple of next seasons. She barely appears. She barely really does anything. She's put in like this relationship that came out of completely nowhere. They try to redeem her and then, oops, now she's gone and everything. And I mean gone. And so you can tell there's a little saltiness there. And they probably also try to live up to the books. I think Jenna dies in like the books and stuff. But we all know that like if you're a fan favorite and if the showrunner likes you, it doesn't matter if your character dies or not in the books. She'll keep you around and everything. Officer Garrett, one of the most corrupt police officers in this show, Nestor Walden. And so he is working with Jenna and he is madly in love with Jenna, which makes it for a very dangerous relationship because love is one of the most dangerous things ever. He's an adult. He's part of the NAT club and he's dating a teenager. What? Seriously, I'm Marlene King. Seriously, man. So anyways, he'll do anything Jenna wants. And like I said before, he stole the autopsy report. He stole the shovel, which was the murder weapon. He planted it so the girls could fall for it and stuff. And he tricked the girls in the beginning thinking that he's on their side until they saw him make out with Jenna. So now they know they can't trust him, but he can't trust Jenna. Once she does what he wants, she dumps him. And he is devastated. His heart is broken. He's constantly calling her. He's showing up at her place and she's not there. He's asking Toby, why did she do this to me, man? I love her. Why did she use me, man? And he's all like, well, that's what she does to people and stuff. And then he threatens Caleb. So Caleb's deciphering the code on like the video and he sees Garrett. Then he looks across and he sees Garrett. At some point, because he's part of the A team and A lets him know, hey, he's digging into you and everything, he threatens that of Caleb when Caleb goes to Jenna's place wanting to threaten her and everything. And he literally reaches for his gun while looking at Caleb and talking to him with a psychotic look on his face. So at some point in time, like, the dude is dangerous. So at some point in time, he finally gives up on Jenna and starts dating Melissa of all people, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But hey, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But then, in a shocking thing, Jenna has one more trick up her sleeve because Garrett is too clingy to her and she's tired of him and everything, and she can't let nothing trace back to her. She decides to set Garrett up. So she has the autopsy paper that he let her keep. She gives it to Toby and it's all like, Garrett gave me this paper and I think it's something bad. But of course I'm blind and I can't read it. Can you tell me what it is? He's all like, it's Allie's autopsy report, the missing page. So she has Toby send it to the police. And the police put two and two together. Somebody stole the murder weapon from police custody. Who could it be? Somebody stole the autopsy report from the hospital, but they got the girls on video camera and him setting the whole thing up. So they realized, hey, it must be him and everything. And I don't know if they actually sent the video of him like talking, being recorded or whatever, but his goose is cooked and everything. So while he's at Spencer's place talking to Melissa, somehow the cops just knew he was there and they arrest him. And now he's being framed for the murder of Allie and he did not even kill her. And it's weird that the police never asked Toby, hey man, why should we believe you over a cop? But you know, somebody had to get that murder weapon out somehow and it had to be a cop. Spoiler alert, they didn't know what to do with him in the third season. He's mysterious, he's behind bars, Spencer's mom's his lawyer, and then he's killed in the mid-season finale Halloween episode. And it's one of those things, well, who the heck killed him? And then we find out. And I'm not even sure if they mentioned it on the show, but of course, Marlene King mentioned it in the interview and everything. They literally didn't know what to do with this dude. I hate when they do that. But you know what's funny? Is like, he's the singer from the Lizzie McGuire movie. I never knew that. All right, now it's time to get into our liars themselves. Let's start with Aria, because I hate talking about the whole Ezra thing. So anyway, Aria is the sweet little innocent looking type person because she's short and she's petite, but she can be vicious when she wants. Like I said before, she's in a relationship with a grown man and she acts like she is like the wife who walks around the apartment like she owns the place and stuff. If her adult boyfriend tries to break up with her, she refuses. She sneaks off. She constantly bees with him, even when the parents don't want her to. I hate this relationship so much, and it really tarnishes the character because they're soulmates and everything, you know. They've tried so many times to put her with other male characters on the show, but they always get rid of them some way or another just so Aria and Ezra can be soulmates and everything. And, you know, for the most part, the other liars are pissed at her because they had to break off their relationships with everybody else, but she snuck around and kept hers. And it made her just keep more secrets from them and stuff, you know? And that's the thing about these girls. They have their big secret with the public, and then they have their small minor secrets with each other. And it does cause problems and friction and, you know, stuff like that. And not to mention what makes her character even worse is when she threatens her father. I mean, I don't get it, you know, like, and it really sucks because she was the only actress I knew going into this who was part of the Little Liars group because she was on Wizards of Waverly Place. You know, there's a couple of people who were on Disney Channel who's on this show. The Arya character, the Garrett, Ian was in that Luck of the Irish movie and stuff like that. So Emily is going through once again another roller coaster of a season. Not so much love wise, that's in the later part of the season, but in the beginning, it has to do with her whole like swimming thing. I will say this is some of the best acting Shay Mitchell has done this season, especially when she has to act emotional and with an attitude and stuff. And so, like, basically, the first complication is her family's moving and stuff to Texas, and she doesn't want to move. So, what the heck is she gonna do? Plus, because of the whole swimming thing, they're thinking about like recruiting her and stuff like that. Well, how that's gonna happen if she has to move? So, she fakes some documents and everything. And like I forget, I think she faked the document from like the place that wants to recruit her, and she was gonna give it to her mom, but decided not to. But A did it anyways, and so A held that over Emily's head. So this causes like her mom to decide, okay, you're gonna start living with Hannah. Even though the girls aren't supposed to be talking to each other, she goes and lives with Hannah. And it's nice seeing the interaction between her and Hannah's mom because Hannah's mom is so sweet and everything and understanding. And so now that the whole living situation thing has been resolved, now is the problem with the whole swimming thing because when she got hurt and everything, A put like steroids or something in like her drink or like her medication or something. So it showed up on the reports that she's taking some type of enhancement type thing. And she gets banned from swimming. She denies it, of course, but nobody wants to believe her at like, the school, especially the vice principal who kicks her off and everything. And so, like, that's later resolved because Mona helps her out and everything. Her and Mona become very chummy, and Mona lets her know that, the vice principal takes bribes from people and stuff. And so we're just gonna blackmail him and get you back on the team and everything. And so that was really nice of Mona to do and stuff. And so, like, other than that, like, Emily fakes it with the whole Spencer thing between like, those two like hate each other. So they start bickering. They even get into like a little bit of a scuffle and everything, which gets them more community service. And it's all a ruse to try to trick A because the girls are smart enough this season to try to trick A and capture A and everything. And so, like I said before, the whole her and Samara thing is over with. Her and the whole Maya thing is over with. And then her and the Paige thing is just kind of like there. And the second part of the season with her is just all about relationships, especially with the whole Maya thing. The whole Maya thing is enough to give Emily like a nervous breakdown, man. Like, seriously, Maya is there, Maya's dating a dude, broke up with a dude, then Maya disappears. And when she disappears, it really messes with Emily. And when Maya dies, it really messes with her. She's always never like they never want to give her a happy ending, especially when it comes to relationships on this show, I've realized. And not to mention, she got manhandled by A, got glass stuck in her hair because to escape, A threw like a pot up on the glass ceiling and everything, and glass got all in her hair. And I love how she keeps saying, "You got it bad. I got glass in my hair." And not to mention, when all the girls were like, given dolls to like go to their secluded location and stuff, she was sent to this place to die of carbon monoxide poisoning and stuff. Hannah, I always loved the Hannah character from season one. She's like, cootsy wootsy and everything, and like, but they have her now being a dumb one. Well, anyways, she's still having to deal with what happened last season. Her and Caleb are broken up, and it's all Mona's fault. So Lucas decides to fix that, and it causes problems between Mona and that of Hannah all season because Mona feels neglected, and it's all because Hannah's all up with Caleb and everything, you know? And so Hannah this season is mostly dealing with Kate in the beginning. Kate is like, her soon to be stepsister, and I already told you all the mess and drama with that. It's to the point where it causes Hannah to realize her father cares more about his new family. And that's one of the things that sucks. When the husband, father, divorces, like, the wife, they just don't, like, a lot of times they just don't divorce the wife, they divorce the kids as well. And they abandon them. They go and find, like, another wife, and then they start, like, a new family. And it's that neglect that, sucks because it hurts, you know what I'm saying? And Hannah wants to be with her father, but her father wants to be with his other family. But then when he starts to see more and more that more bad stuff is happening in Hannah's life, he wants to move to Rosewood and keep an eye on Hannah and be with her, which causes more complications with the whole Kate situation, which I already got into that. But like I said before, Hannah is all about protecting Caleb. When Caleb is working with the girls to decipher those videos, and A starts to threaten Hannah, to threaten Caleb, Hannah takes the initiative and takes the flash drive and destroys it in the blender. And this is what they had leverage on A and everything. And Hannah just destroys it for like love, which is so stupid because they can end this right here and now. But she loves Caleb so much that she's willing to constantly be stopped by like a crazy person. And so it's Mona who gets the girls all these like, cell phones and everything, and like so they can sneak around because they're not supposed to talk to each other. They're like, but then they later do. And then, the parent, her mom literally wants to go through her cell phone because her mom realizes because there's something going on and who is this A person? Because Byron got a message from A, Ella got one last season, and now like, this whole thing of when, what's her name? Hannah's mom stole that money from like the bank and everything, that's coming back into play now. Because Mona's being stopped by A and everything. And so when the mom sees this paper, she's kind of like, who is this A person? How do they have this paper? Walden, is causing mess again. He can get fired. I can get in trouble, blah, 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 blah. So the mom is like really concerned and everything. And it causes Hannah to just throw her cell phone in like the water and stuff. And because she's trying to protect everybody, herself, Caleb, and this and that. It also causes problems between her and the girls because the girls want these videos, and Caleb, is trying to figure them out, and he's trying to help Hannah, but Hannah does not want him to. And it literally feels her like she feels neglect and everything from the girls because they're lying about not wanting to hang out with her and stuff. Spencer. So Spencer, well, I swear, they always give the best stuff to Spencer and stuff. So, like, everybody thinks in town they're liars and everything. She keeps saying Ian's like alive, but everybody's like, no, he's dead and everything. But she's all like, he got up and left the place because his body's not here. It causes problems between her and her sister, big time. Because, she knows that he's alive, but the sister does not want to believe that, even though the sister knows for a fact he is alive and everything. And so, like, she's having problems with her sister because of that. But then she has even bigger problems with her sister because her sister is on that video and she thinks her sister killed Allie and everything. And it's to the point where the other girls all like, yo, this is a case solved for us. We're finna go to the police, say Melissa did it, and we can all be happy now because Melissa is A. And Spencer's kind of like, no, I'm not sending my sister to prison and everything. But she's all like, oh, but you're willing to send my boyfriend to prison or my friend to prison and everything. She's like, I don't care. And so there's also complications with that of her father because her father knows something that has to do with that hockey stick and he is not telling Spencer, which will later play a big part of season 4, the Phil hockey stick and everything, and Spencer too, because it's very shocking. And so the whole Toby and Spencer thing, when it comes to her father, that's causing problems to where he tries to stop her from seeing him. She hops in the car and drives off, only for the dad to bang at the windshield and everything. And, she loves Toby and everything, but she can't be with him. She's realizing that their secrets is going to cause him harm because A wants to break them up, just like she wants to break everybody else up. So she literally has to break things up with Toby, tell him how she doesn't want him no more and this and that. And like after she got him the money for the truck because she stole Melissa's engagement ring and to pawn it off, get the money, get the truck. But then the problem is she couldn't get the ring back. That storyline was completely dropped. She got away with stealing a ring. And so like then she has like Emily, like I said before, lie to Toby about like kissing like the doctor dude. And like it breaks his heart to where he leaves and her heart is broken. Even to the point where she will wear one of Toby's shirts underneath her shirt and everything. That's how much she misses him. But she's also the type of person who always puts the blame on Allie's death on everybody. Every time, because she's the only one really investigating more than the other girls. But there was a point when she did kind of stop because she couldn't take the stress of it no more. But then she kept at it and everything. And she's always putting the blame on everybody. Her father, her sister, Jason, Garrett, Jenna, like she just points the finger at everybody and causes everybody to believe it, causing problems for them and everything. Ian also. And I hate when she does that because when the finger got pointed at her sister, all of a sudden, oh no, you know what I'm saying? And later on in season 4, and the finger gets pointed at somebody else, she, is gonna be like, oh no, and everything. And so, like, but her and the doctor dude kind of start a little something happens when she is broken up, but she still just loves Toby too much. And it pains her to see him with, like, Jenna and stuff. But here's the interesting thing. It is Spencer who figures out who A is. Dr. Sullivan thought she knew who A was, but it turns out like that's the whole thing that is confusing. Did Dr. Sullivan know, or did she just think it was Toby? Because why would Toby use the B word to refer to like a girl? So I think Dr. Sullivan did find out who A was and everything. And that person had Toby go and kidnap her and stuff. But anyway, Spencer is the one who finds out who A is through certain little clues. Doing like the whole hotel thing, they find A's lair and everything. And Spencer is hanging out with actual A instead of going to the banquet. And so like A offers Spencer some gum, but Spencer doesn't want it. But then when Spencer and A is in A's lair and she's going through Allie's journal, she sees the wrapper from like the gum as like a bookmark and realizes this could be this person. Then all of a sudden, there's a certain type of sweater that is in A's lair, and long time ago A offered to give that sweater to Spencer. So when A puts two and two together, A tries to kill Spencer and everything. They hop in the car, A is speeding around and everything like that. So who is A, right? Well, just like in the book, it's Mona. Mona of all people. Teeny tiny Mona and everything. And it's like, wow, Mona is that smart. But there was clues all this season that Mona might have been A and everything. Like, okay, A is really good with like computers. Mona is really good with computers because she hacked in the computer system at school and changed and got that dirt on like the vice principal for Emily. Now she said like she was able to hack into it because she used to work there and she knows like the password and stuff. So it's like, okay, maybe she's not. But then at one point in the season, Mona starts to act nice to all the girls and talking about A is sending me messages again. But then when A kept sending Mona messages, it was constant over and over and over. And it's all like, A don't operate like that. A will give you a message like once a week type thing. Or a little bit longer than that, not constantly. But then when all the girls said hey to Mona, I didn't catch it until like a third watching of the show when the girls all like, hey, and then it's like they're like, hey, and like they put a lot of emphasis on the EY part, like hey, like to sound it out like really long. And when you do that, it sounds like hey, but then the ending part sounds like a. And so like I'm like, how did I not catch that before? And like I said before, like I went online, I saw who A was online, but then like I skimmed it and then I just like turned it off because I didn't want to like ruin myself and spoil myself. But then like I forgot who A was in like the book. And so cause I forgot who Mona was at that time and stuff. And so when Mona was revealed to be A, it's like, oh, okay. And I'm glad they stuck to the book because we all know I Marlene King went off the rails when it came from like the source material and started coming up with her own stuff. And so, like, this season really threw a lot of fans off because they didn't know if she was going to be A, and they didn't know if I, Marlene King, was going to stick to the book. Because they even tried to make Mona sympathetic. Because Mona really is just a sad person. She pretends not to be because she's like the it girl of school, but she really is like sad and everything. And at one point in time, Spencer apologized to Mona's all like, I'm so sorry how we used to treat you back in the day and pretend like you was invisible because of Allie. And you see that hurt look on Mona's face talking about thank you and everything. Like, I wish y'all could have told me that sooner because that's all she ever wanted. You know what I'm saying? All she ever wanted was to be their friend and they wouldn't do it because Allie would not let them and everything. And so they just always looked at Mona like she was invisible, like she was never there. You know what I'm saying? And the motivation as to why Mona became A is different from that of the book. See, in the book, Mona became A because she really hated Allie, and the other liars were also mean to that of Mona. When Allie went missing and stuff like that, and later died, Mona like found like her journal and found out all the liars' secrets and stuff, like the Jenna thing. So she started just spying on them and taunting them to get revenge for them making fun of her and stuff. In the show, it's a little bit differently. In the show, Mona really hates Allie, even to the point of clocking her in the head with the murder weapon and everything. And so then, she wanted revenge on the liars, not because the liars made fun of them, and not because they pretended like she was invisible, but because she said they stole Hannah from her. After she became best friends with Hannah, This is the part that don't make no sense. So she became best friends with Hannah after Allie left. And Hannah and the girls just stopped speaking. And they didn't start speaking again until Allie's body was like recovered. And they went to like the funeral and stuff. And then they just started being friends. That was enough to cause Mona to go crazy in the head and hate the other girls. All because Hannah started being friends with them again. But she still hung out with like Mona. And so if that is the case, why didn't Mona go after Caleb? Caleb literally had all of Hannah's time, you know what I'm saying? And even to the point to where she rarely saw Mona. So why didn't I know Mona tried to get rid of him, but why didn't she try to get rid of him A style? You know what I'm saying? This is why I believe I Marlene King was not gonna stick to the book and was gonna do something different. Also, why would she try to kill Hannah in season 1 by running her over? She said it's because she got angry and lost her temper. But I believe they in season 3, but I only believe that, like, she said that because, like, they had to write that in because they chose her to be like A and everything. Because I think I read somewhere that she literally didn't know she was gonna be A until like that episode and stuff. And like early that morning. I forgot where I read that from, but I don't know if that's true or not. But anyways, so like her motive is completely different from the book. She's just jealous and everything. Jealous that Hannah's not hanging out with her and hanging out with the other girl. But if you stop and think about it, the main reason why Hannah is constantly hanging with the other girls is because A keeps sending them all threatening messages and stuff and ruining their lives. So of course she's gonna stick to them and everything because they're trying to solve this thing. So Mona literally pushed Hannah onto them. So this is why I think Mona wasn't gonna be the original A and everything. And so like the whole motive of, oh, I'm just jealous because you took Hannah from me. Now why you try to kill her? But anyways, but this is what don't make no sense. She's speeding around in the middle of the night with Spencer in the car and talking about telling Spencer, make a choice. Are you in or are you out? And I'm like, well, hold up. So she's not trying to kill Spencer? Because if she dies in that car wreck, she can't get her revenge. She wants Spencer to be part of the A team. But the question is, why exactly? Is it because Spencer's smart? Is it because she figured things out? Is it because of the whole Toby thing? Like, what exactly is it? But Spencer literally turns the cell phone on so the other girls can hear it on speaker. And that's how they realize who Mona is really A, which completely shocks like Hannah. But then they also start to realize something. Their cell phones are all set on record the moment you like turn them on or like and stuff like that. And Mona is the one who gave them the cell phone, so they started to put 2 and 2 together themselves. Somehow they got out to where Spencer and Mona is in a matter of seconds, which should have been miles and hours away, but it's just television. And Spencer was able to get out the car, and then like Hannah almost hits Mona again with like the car, which causes Mona to be like pissed and just screech and run after Spencer with the gun because somebody stole Spencer's dad's gun. And Mona let Spencer know, it was me that stole your gun, dad's gun. But she never tries to use it. What was the point in stealing it, making us fans think that Mona is gonna kill somebody when Mona never even waves it at nobody? So anyway, in a really cool climactic scene, she's chasing after Spencer, and then she dangles off the side of a cliff, only to fall and everything. And we're like, oh wow, they killed her off just like in the book. And that's like so cool that they did that. But nope. Nope. Because she's a fan favorite, and because I Marlene King likes her so much, I Marlene King kept her alive. And they put her in the crazy house at the end of the season. And so this would have been perfect, but Marlene King had to mess that up. Spoiler alert. Well, actually, not spoiler, 'cause it's still in the show. We see Mona talk to herself in her head, pretending to be Allie and everything. So it's like, wow, she's really cuckoo. But then all of a sudden, a person in a red coat just shows up. And Mona looks at them, is all like, I did everything you asked me to. And then it ends. And it's just kind of like, hold up, what the heck is going on? Is Mona not really the mastermind? Is she just taking instructions from somebody else? Then that totally ruins her character. Spoiler alert for next season, the person in the red coat is later revealed to be a completely different character. A character who looks similar to Allie. Mona thought she was talking to Allie because she was doped up on drugs. But then when she wasn't doped up on drugs, she still didn't know who this person was because somehow she never saw that person's face because she was doped up on drugs or whatever. So in the next season, she's trying to figure out who is Red Coat. And who is Uber A? Because Uber A is Red Coat, and Mona is taking instructions from them. So it totally ruins that character to where fans are like, "She's our queen. She's so smart," but she's taking instructions from somebody else. So it's not like she's the mastermind. But then towards the end of the series, Mona does something that's so stupid and crazy that it goes off into a spin-off series and it's ruined, and canceled after one season. But anyway, this really pisses me off that Mona was just taking instructions from somebody else. I don't like that because I want Mona to be her own mastermind. I believe at one point she was the mastermind, but then once this whole red coat thing showed up, they started barking the instructions towards the end of the season. So Mona was the mastermind all in season 1 and season 2, but then at the end, she thought she saw Allie and started taking instructions from her. And all throughout the 3rd season, Mona's working for A, which I don't like that because Mona should be main A and should be like a boss of her own, you know what I'm saying? But of course, they had to create Uber A and do the whole fake out with the twin thing and all this other crap. And so, Marlene King. So back to the whole Mona's motivation of being A not making no sense. So this has just been like bugging me. So I decided to do some research online because I haven't gotten the rewatch so far to season 5, 6, and 7 because I always try to avoid those seasons because I don't like those seasons. And so in season 6, it was revealed that Mona and Hannah were friends in middle school. Then, she became friends with Allie around high school time, and that's when she made friends with the others. So now this makes sense. However, that's a cop-out. That's literally Marlene King having to correct a mistake that she made in season 2's reveal and in the pilot and everything. And, I don't take that as like face value canon and everything. That's literally just like a creator's mistake and them trying to like correct it and everything. Because other people brought that up and so they like, oh crap, we're going to have to fix this somehow. So that's what they did in season 6. So now it makes sense for when she said, you stole Hannah from me. But you gotta remember, Marlene King was not thinking that far ahead in season 6 because they was only on season 2 and got renewed for a season 3. Because if she was really thinking that far, why didn't she reveal it in season 3? So that's just a cop-out in my opinion. So I really enjoy season 2, even though there's some things about it I don't like. Because I know how the series ends, and it's just kind of like they just started mixing crap around and messing things up. But for the most part, season 2 is very good, and it's probably one of the best seasons next to that of season 1. It's very mysterious, it's slow paced, it really gets your juices flowing and everything, the whole mystery of it all. I love how the girls are becoming smarter and trying to trick A and trying to like set up A and everything. I like how A broke up all their relationships only for them to get them back again. I like how the parents got more involved this season, and I like the idea of Mona being A and just a girl scorned by, I guess, out of jealousy. But they should have kept the whole because the girls were being mean. But they didn't do that because they didn't want you to hate the liars and everything. And so, because of that, some things just don't click as the series progresses and stuff. And for the most part, it was a little ambitious for what they did this season, but not overly ambitious like they did in other seasons and stuff. Because once you get into other seasons, it's just kind of like it's too much. And then they made Mona way too smart and clever. And it's literally to the point where it's just kind of like, they're ruining their characters more and more as the series progress. My favorite seasons are 1 through 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Season 3, like I said before, is when they started to have cracks and fractures in the show and everything. There are just some things that happen in season 3 that I look back on and just like, that is so stupid. And then in season 4 is probably their most ambitious, juiciest season ever, to where it's kind of like, I remember watching it just one time back in the day. I'm gonna rewatch it again. Hopefully I can do it before the month is over with, and hopefully I can get season 1 out before the month is over with. But it's just like there's so much crazy stuff going on in season 4. It's like, oh my God, that is drama, or at least how I remember it and everything. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye.